profound things that was said. Of course, for me, I'm here to get my soul saved. I'm trying to reach eternal life. You know what I'm saying? What Corey said was most profound, and what the basis of what I'm gonna be discussing is we here because we preparing for war. We here because we ain't here getting ready for battle. We soldiers. You understand? We ain't here to get the tools, the training, the wisdom, the understanding, and the know-how to effectively fight in this battle that we're fighting in every day. You know what I'm saying? And for us to really truly get understanding, for us to really truly get understanding, and for us to really truly, you know what I'm saying, have the tools that we need to get salvation, we got to be disciplined. We got to be disciplined as soldiers, training ourselves up, training our kids up in the way that they must follow so that their soul can be saved. And like Wayne said, got to be in our heart to do this. We're not just coming in here because this is the routine, like going to work. We just got to do it. We're doing this because we trying to get prepared for this battle that we're fighting every day and have what we need to succeed and not submit and to not lose. You understand? So the first thing we got to know with getting our soul saved is that a lot of people say they want to do this. A lot of people say that this is what they want. A lot of people say they won't understand it. A lot of people say they want to be saved. A lot of people say they are saved. You know what I'm saying? So what separates them from what we're doing in here today? All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10, verse 21.
Brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, children up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endures to the end shall be saved.
All right, so that's the point. The point is that in this battle, in this walk, what we're fighting, you're going to have your own family against you. You're going to have maybe your own children against you, your own people that you say you love against you. And why they're against you? Because they're not trying to fight the same battle. And at that point, that makes them your spiritual enemy because they're not fighting on the same side of the lines as you. Because if somebody submit to their flesh and giving in to their flesh, they're not fighting the same fight you fight. Therefore, you're susceptible to be on their side of the line every time in any situation. And that's what we got to understand. And then we're going back to what it said, 22. Read that again, 22.
And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endures to the end shall be saved.
Right. So, like I said, it's going to be people who are at variance against you because you say you believe in this man's name. You say you believe in YAHUAH. You say you're a soldier for YAHUAH. Therefore, you're going to have persecution that come behind that. And that's what's making this fight hard. That's what's going to make the walk hard because you're going to have your own people that you care about, people that you love against you because they're not willing to do what they say that they want. They're not really to do what they got to really do to be saved. They're not really willing to learn what they need to learn to really truly be saved. So we got to understand that we got to do that to the end. Like we saying we all gave while we in here right now, but the same mindset, the same reasoning that we're doing what we're doing today is what's going to sustain us throughout our lifetime until we die. Because for me right now, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. This is in my heart. I'm going to be doing this to the day I die, hands down, and I know that. I feel that because I know that this is what I want. And I'm willing to go out about this because this ain't this it. I'm not going to choose nothing else. And that's the spirit that we got to have to really endure. A lot of people don't have that same mindset. They say they want it, but just as sure as we're going to read today, you're going to see that a lot of people, once that adversity, once that persecution, once that hate comes, once that tribulation comes, it's not going to be the same. All right? So let's go to 2 Timothy 2. Let's 2 Timothy 2. Let's read it at the top.
Thou therefore, my son, thou therefore, my son, be strong in grace that is in the Mashiach Yahushua.
All right, he said be strong. And that's part of being a soldier. You got to be strong. You got to be willing to resist and do what's right at all times. And be disciplined. You read.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also.
Okay.
That thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua and Mashiach.
So see that? He already preparing you to be able to endure the persecution that comes with this. He's not giving you saying, oh yeah, this is what you gotta do to be saved and it's gonna be easy, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing to get saved. All you gotta do is confess with your mouth and believe. That's not what he's saying. Because we see that every time we see it's about being a soldier because we at war. We at war with our flesh. Like I said, we're at war with people who say they really want this. Because the whole battle starts within. You gotta overcome yourself or you can even step outside of the word. But like I said right here, read verse 2 again.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also.
Right. So before you can be able to submit this word to teach other men, faithful men, to give them understanding, you have to have understanding yourself. You have to have the mental fortitude yourself to be able to put all things at bay at your flesh first, so you can efficiently give the word to somebody else. We read that you can't try to get the beam out of somebody else's eye when it's a beam in your eye. When this thing that you know you're doing that's contrary, you can't even give the word to somebody else and think they're gonna be able to be faithful to apt to teach somebody else. It's not gonna work like that. So that's part of being a soldier. It's ranks too. You know what I'm saying? Once you move up, once you master this, once you rank up in your ranking in your walk, you'll be able to get more responsibility. You'll have more responsibility to lead others, to teach others to look up to you and get the strength to overcome whatever they're going through. Y'all see that? All right, so we're gonna go into some examples in the law and in the Tanakh to see. What do you think? Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
Verse 4, no man that war entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
All right, so that's just going back into what I said. I thought really that's going back to what I'm saying. You're supposed to be striving to master what you know is hindering you from being the best soldier you can be. And as other people who are in this walk see that you overcoming things that they know that you have a hard time with, they see you overcoming things and being in a situation where you proving yourself to be master in your skill and in that area, therefore you get more strength. And read for one time.
No man that war entangle himself with the affairs of this life.
Start right there. So we see right there. It's telling you that we warn. So we got to understand that the affairs of this life, the people in our life, things that we might have held in providence when we was in the world, we can't still be entangled with that because that's going to coincide, that's going to conflict with the war that we fight. You know what I'm saying? You can't play both sides. You can't play both sides. So with that being said, this war that we fighting, we're doing this today because we strengthen ourselves. We sharpening our sword right now. You know what I'm saying? We getting a battle array formed to be able to fight efficiently against the enemy. And we soldiers, because we in this together. Everybody who in here right now that say they trying to do this, we in this together and we need each other, bearing each other's burden. We going to war together. We fighting for each other. So we all got to make sure that we on the same page mentally. That's why we all here together today. So we all understand what each individual person needs to do to ensure that they can endure to the end, fight this fight to the end, and fight this fight to the death. Regardless of what nobody say, regardless of what we got going in our life, the affairs of this world can't come in and separate us from what we're trying to do. You can't let nothing do that to your job, your life. We done talked about this so many times, but it's serious because I don't think we're looking at this like a literal war. If you don't win, you're gonna die and go to hell. Point blank period. If you don't kill your flesh, if you don't win this battle, and if you die in the same state you was in, not fully understanding this word, not fully resisting your flesh, you're gonna die and go to hell. And all this fight was for nothing. You could have just stayed out there and just been on the other side of the lines. So that's what we're looking at. And we're looking at now that we living in Mashiach, we got to take on that character. We got to take on that kingly character. We got to take on that priestly character. Leadership, responsibility, dedication. These are all the characteristics that come with us taking on that identity now. All right? Go to Revelation chapter. All right. Revelation chapter 1. Let's go to verse 4.
YAHUAH to the 7 assemblies which are in Asia. Grace be unto you and shalom from him which is and which was and which is to come, and from the 7 Ruachs which are before his throne, and from YAHUAH the Mashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto Elohim and his Father. To him be esteem and dominion forever and ever.
All right, start right there. So you see, through us believing in this man, through this man's blood, he has washed us clean. Meaning, if we continue in this walk and continue in this faith, he is going to forgive us for all the transgressions we have done prior to. All the things that we've done in our ignorance, all the things that we've done before, we get washed clean of that once we believe in this man's name, get immersed in this man's blood, and we wash ourselves clean. Now, once you continue back into the things that you were doing that wasn't expedient, therefore you causing this man's name to go to shame. You get no mercy, you get no sacrifice for your sin once you know you turning back to doing stuff that wasn't expedient, once you know that was wrong. Because therefore you switching back sides. And that's what it's talking about. You getting entangled back in the world, you getting entangled back in the lifestyle you comfortable with, you getting entangled back into the things that other people doing. Alright? So keep reading. Verse 7.
Behold, he come with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the ending, saith YAHUAH, which is, and which was, and which is to come, Al Shaddai.
Start right there. What that's at with the kings and priests?
Revelation 5 and 7.
5 and 8 and 1 and 6.
19.
Yeah, that's all. 5 and 6. Let's go.
Exodus 19 and 5.
Go get Revelation. Revelation, stay in Revelation.
Revelation 5 and 8.
Yeah, 5.
Alright.
And you got 1 and 6 too. You want that one
I think that's what I want.
1 and 6 is.
Alright, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want that. Just stay right here. Let's talk on that. So right now, what I want to go through and what I want to point out with that is us being in that position of being kings and that position of being priests is certain character that we're supposed to take on. And we got to take on the same character that we see the priests of old taking on, the kings of old taking on. That responsibility of us being the leaders and leading those people out of darkness into light. You understand what I'm saying? And so when we talk about getting entangled back in the world and getting entangled into the affairs of other people doing, even though we know it's wrong, that's part of the war. That's part of the fight, because your flesh still gonna want to do that. All right, let's go to Exodus or Shemot 32. All right, let's go to 32 and 16. Exodus 32 and 16.
Oh, excuse me. And the tables were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of Elohim graven upon the table. And when YAHUAH heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp.
Stop there. So see, we on the mount. YAHUAH just gave us the tablets of stone engraved with the writing of Elohim. And YAHUAH, son of Nun, what did he say? He said what? There was a noise of war in the camp. All right, let's see what's going on.
And he said, it's not the voice of them that shout for mastery. These are the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing. Why?
Okay, so my translation said, it is not the noise of the shout of victory, nor is it the noise of the cry of defeat. All right, so we see right here, it's a warring going on in the camp. And you hear the sounds of not defeat and not victory. You see that? So when we look down and we understand that the sound of warring, this is the sound of what we hear going on with this calf. 19.
And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, and he saw the calf and the dancing, Moses' anger waxed hot. He cast the table of stone out of his hands and brake them beneath the mountain. And he took the calf which they had made and burned it in the fire and ground it to powder and strawed it upon the water and made the children of Yasharah drink of it. And Moses said unto Aaron, What did this people unto thee? Thou hast brought so great a sin upon them.
All right, stop there. So you see, he was so mad that he took it, burned it down, and made them drink it. The children of Yasharah drank it. You see that? So at the same time, we looking at how their sins and iniquity fell back on them. All right. So we're gonna go down and see the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's jump down to 27.
And he said unto them, Thus saith YAHUAH Elohim of Yasharah. I'm going to read 25.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame amongst their enemies, then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, Who is on YAHUAH's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him.
Okay.
And he said unto them, Thus saith YAHUAH Elohim of YAHUAH, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
Stop there. So you see this, at the same time, you got this noise of warring in the camp. So you see you got the congregation of the people out here dancing, singing, committing fornication and adulteries with this calf. But at the same time, even though Aaron, who was the priest as well, his descendants, the Levites, they didn't do that. He said, Who is on our side? Come to me. So you see you got these priests are standing there this whole time. Yahushua and Moshe are at the mountain getting these tablets. And they standing here watching. They brother, they watching, they kindred commit this whoredom and fornication. But they just standing there. They didn't take part of that. You get what I'm saying? You gotta look at that's our position in the world. We going out to work on jobs with sinners. We going out every day in the midst of sinners. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes people who say they believe in this word. Just like these people, they supposed to be waiting to get the word from Moshe, and they doing total opposite. But they say they believe, and they say this is what they want. You understand? So as the position of us being kings and priests, this is the same mindset we gotta have. Regardless of what other people doing around you, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what other people doing, you supposed to be keeping that character, standing there, standing strong, and at the same time, still be a soldier and have enough to, if his command go forth. You see, they had enough will and faith for Yahuwah that they was willing to fall on their own people because of their witness. You understand? That's the strength that we gotta have, and the faith that we gotta have believing His word, that we able to the death, and even to what we don't want to do, be able to do it for Him, because that's what He requires of us. Y'all understand that? And we're gonna see that throughout the priests, certain priests waiting on you through all things, enduring through all things. I'm sure that wasn't easy for them to just sit there and stand there and watch their brother commit fornication, and they just stand there and then had a will at the same time to go back and slay them, women and children, just like that, because they was waiting for that, because they know the judgment. That's the mindset we gotta have, because we know that as soon as we step outside this way, go back to living like that, that's the judgment for us. Yeah, because we know better. We say we in here training ourselves up for war, and at the same time you step back outside of that lines like you don't know what the words say, you set yourself up for death. That makes sense? So that's what we gotta look at. We gotta have that same mindset. Let's go to let's show another example. Let's go to 2 Samuel, 1 Samuel. Let's go to 1 Samuel 22. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 22. Let's go to verse 14. 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 14.
Then Abimelech answered the king and said, Who is so faithful among all thy servants as Daud, which is the king's son-in-law, and goeth at thy bidding and is honorable in thy house? Did I then begin to inquire of Elohim for him? Be it far from me, let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor to all the house of my father. For the servant knew nothing of all of this, less or more. And the king said, Thou shalt surely die, Abimelech, and thou and all thy father's house.
Okay, let's start right there. So let's understand what's going on first. So we see that this man is inquiring of Yahuwah, and he is faithful to David. You understand? And we know David was a man after his father's own heart. And we're going to see that Saul, at this time, is trying to get the priests killed because of their faithfulness to Yahuwah and their faithfulness to David and their faithfulness to do what is right. You understand? And that's going back to what we read in Matthew 10. You being persecuted for doing what's right. You being hated for what you believe and what you stand for. All right. So let's go down to 17.
And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, Turn and slay the priests of Yahuwah, because their hand is also with Daud, and because they knew when he fled and did not show to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the
All right. So see, we got the same thing with the soldiers. These are Saul's soldiers at the same breath. They know that it's wrong to fall upon the priest because the priest standing for righteousness. The priest standing for what's right. So at the same time, they define the order from the king to stand for righteousness. And at the same breath, you see the priests, they stood for Dawood because they know that Saul is trying to kill this man for ill intent. He's trying to murder this man. And he's done nothing. He's trying to kill an innocent man. Same thing with Mashiach. David going through the same thing because he getting persecuted for righteousness' sake, just like the Mashiach. The same things that you're going through and the same things you see these people where they taking on the character and they taking over the body of the Mashiach. So you got to understand, when you're trying to live this lifestyle, when you're trying to be righteous and all you do and everything that you do, it's automatically going to come with it. It's automatically going to come. So you got to prepare yourself for that. And that's what we're doing. So let's see what happens.
And the king said to Doeg, turn thou and fall upon the priests. And Doeg the Edomite turned and fell upon the priests and slew on that day 85 persons that wore a linen ephod.
Okay, keep going.
And Nob, the city of the priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children, suckling, oxen, ass, and sheep with the edge of the sword.
Stop there. So we see this. This prophetic in itself, because we know it's going to be a time where us, the same people we talking about in here preparing for this war and preparing for this battle, are going to be slaughtered. You see that. It's the scripture telling us that we're going to be persecuted for his name's sake. We just went over the heads of the men under the throne of Elohim who've been persecuted, who've been beheaded for this man's sake. You know what I'm saying? Are all us willing to be soldiers and willing to die for what we believe in, righteously persecuted, without raising the hand to fight back, because you know that you're doing the right thing? They say this priest stood there, and this man just slew them, the whole city, a priest. It say how many men wore the ephod? 85 men who wore the linen ephod, who clothed in white robes, clothed in white linen. Righteousness of the saints. They get slew. We gotta understand that we gotta be willing and ready to die for this word at any time, because we don't know how soon that might happen. We saying we doing what we doing, we sticking at this, really enduring to the end. You never know. That's why this is a fight that you gotta be always prepared to fight at all times. You can't forsake this word once you say this is what you believe in. You gotta endure to it, even if it comes down to this. You see, at the same time, let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum, like I'm saying. People who say they believe in you, they don't believe in you because they not willing to have enough faith to wait on this man. They knew that they was waiting on YAHUAH, and even if he never answered and didn't come and protect them, didn't come to save them at that time, that they were still going to inherit the reward of righteousness. That's faith in itself. You got to have faith enough. Even if he don't save you out of your persecution, even if he don't come when you call it, this man's name, knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you'll die for that right then and there. That's part of the battle. That's part of the war. Y'all understand that? So let's go to let's jump back to 1 Samuel 13. Let's see Saul. You understand? We read Revelation supposed to be kings and priests, right? This is the kind of king we're not supposed to be. We're gonna see this. 1 Samuel 13. Right. Let's go to verse 5.
And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with YAHUAH, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen. And as the people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude, they came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward from Bethhaven. When the men of YAHUAH saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed, and the people did hide themselves in caves and in thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pitch.
Okay.
And some of the Abrim went over the Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling.
Okay, stop there. So like I said, us in the position of being kings and priests, a king is we see as a position of leadership. You got other people that's looking up to you, watching your every move to see how you handle certain situations because you in that position. They assume that Yah's with you because Yah's put you in a position of leadership. So your actions and what you do affect so many other people. That's another thing we gotta understand being in this walk. Because we profess to believe what we say we believe in, we profess we walk in Yahushua, we profess that we believe in YAHUAH, and we have faith in this man. For real. So we profess we walking in YAHUAH. This is what's gonna come on us. We gotta make sure that we in a position that we are being that example. As husbands, we set an example for our wives. We set an example for our children. We set an example for our friends who say they want to know more about this word, or at least they feel like they can attempt to try to walk this walk, live this life. You supposed to be that living testimony. And even if they not, you still testifying against their soul because they got the chance to seek righteousness. They having a chance to see that it's another way besides what they live, how they live, and what they used to. And you a source of that information. Like we read, you to be able to raise up faithful brothers and teach them the word that they might want to hear their soul say. So let's look at this. Let's see what Saul do in this position of stress. In this position when he's supposed to prove himself a leader, a righteous king.
And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him.
Okay.
Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me, and shalom offerings, and he offered the burnt offering. Came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Shaul went out to meet him, that he might salute him.
Let's stop there. All right. So let's look at the first thing he say. Let's read 8 one more time. Verse 8.
And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed, but Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered.
All right, so let's start right there. So we see Samuel gave him a time frame and he said he was going to be there. He waited the time frame that Samuel gave, and once the time frame passed, we see that the people started losing faith in Saul. You see, they started to leave. They were like, Samuel ain't here. Saul, you don't know what to do. You can't handle it. So once Saul saw that he was losing the prestige in the face of the people, he didn't wait on YAHUAH. See, the people caused him not to be a good leader because he was pressured by the people. We see that same example with Aaron at the mountain. He a Levite, he a priest. At the same time, the people come to him, Moses not back yet. Moses not back yet. Yahushua not back yet. What do we do? You see that? And that pressure from the people caused him to do that. The same thing with Saul. See, he didn't have enough faith to wait on Yah to see what the next move was. He took it upon himself. And that's a lot of the same type of attitude we have now in this word, because instead of waiting on Yah, even though the situation not looking good, even though you might be losing the outward of man, you might be losing that face, or you might be losing that confidence others have in you, you still supposed to keep your confidence in YAHUAH. That's the same thing like Dwayne said, even if it ain't nobody in here right, and there's 2 people in here, you still gotta stand. You still gotta be here. You still gotta stand on what you believe. You know that's against the word for you to burn the offering and sacrifice. So you're supposed to stand on what's right, regardless of what the situation may look, because YAHUAH can turn anything around. So let's see what happened. As soon as he burnt the sacrifice, what did it say? It says Samuel came right up to greet him. We have verse 10.
Came to pass as soon as he made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Shaul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. Samuel said, what hast thou done? Shaul said, because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and as I came not within the days appointed, that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Therefore said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself therefore, and offered a burnt offering.
They say he forced himself. All right. That's going back to what we're saying. That war against your spirit and your flesh. You know what I'm saying? Your flesh can put you in a position where it's pressuring your spirit to really try and see if you're going to do what you know is right. Because he knew what was right. He confessed it to Samuel. I didn't know what to do. I felt compelled and I pushed myself to do what was wrong. How? You know what I'm saying? We done been in that situation. How can yourself be pushing the spirit out of your mind to do what's wrong? Nobody never been through that? That never happened to you? It's the same thing. We see the same thing. He a king. He in a position of leadership. He in a position where there's people looking up to this man to see whether he gonna do what's right or wrong. Not just man. Who are looking at him to prove him out. Is he gonna be a proper leader for YAHUAH? We see that he failed. We see that he failed. In that same breath, that's how we fail. That's how we fail as soldiers. That's how we fail as kings. That's how we fail as priests. By not doing what's right at all times, especially when we know. And when that spirit is there fighting and talking to us and telling us, you know that's what's right, you know that's what's right. You can't let the affairs of this world, you can't let outside influences pressure you to do what's wrong when you. Who is the one that's watching you? Who is the judge? Man, not the judge. So you got to make sure that you're doing what's right regardless of what's going on. All right, that's the position that we in. You gotta fight that fight. All right, so. All right, let's read this. Let's see what Samuel said to Saul.
And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of YAHUAH Elohim, which he commanded thee. But now would YAHUAH have established thy kingdom upon YAHUAH forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. YAHUAH have sought him a man after his own heart, and you have commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which YAHUAH commanded.
Stop right there. So we see that's the same thing in this walk. YAHUAH raising us up to be soldiers. We ain't come upon this and just snap, oh, I wanna follow YAHUAH. YAHUAH plant that seed in your heart to want to do what's right, to want to seek after him. But the minute that you put yourself in a position where he tests you and you fail, you can be put right out the way and not return. And he move his eyes right off of you and move to somebody else. We don't want that for ourselves. And we strong right now, we here right now, we saying that's what we want. But it can happen to anybody. The slightest thing we can do outside the word, outside the way, and we know it's out the way, he can give us up, give us over, turn his back from us, take his spirit from us. The little guidance that he given us, take that away and give us over to a reprobate mind. She was talking about this last night. Just that quick it can happen. You see that? And he raised this man up, put this man in this position, and he tested him and tried. That's part of being a soldier. That's part of moving up in the ranks. Like I'm saying, you got to be able to, time and time again, consistently be in a situation where you overcome, and you show him that you worthy for everlasting life. He said right here, I would establish your kingdom forever. Just like that. He would have saved you. You could have endured, and you could have lived and lived forever, established you forever. But just like that, we can lose sight of that. And that's why we're here together, because we can't lose sight of that. We can't lose sight of that, because we see so many great people. From Solomon, there's so many great people who got to the end. He raised them up. They've had glory. They've had esteem. They've done what's right several times. And then boom, just like that, they lose that. And I don't want that for nobody. I don't want that for myself. And I definitely don't want that for other brothers and sisters. So that's why we're doing what we're doing, so we can make sure that we're keeping that mindset all the way through. All the way through the end. Alright? So let's read what. No, that's it. Let's go to matter of fact, let's go to 1 Samuel 28. Oh, 1 Samuel 28. Alright. Alright, let's go to verse 3. Now Samuel, before we read, Samuel, he was in a position where Saul had a lot of faith in Samuel and what he said in his word, and he looked to him for guidance. So we're going to see now that he don't have that, and YAHUAH has already told this man, I wasn't going to stab you forever, and now I've turned my eyesight from you. Let's see how his initial act of not following YAHUAH leads to a continual string of acts of unrighteousness, acts of wickedness. Acts of disobedience. All right, let's go to verse 3.
Now Samuel was dead, and all of Yasharal had lamented and buried him in Ramah, even in his own city. And Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits, the wizards, out of the land. And the Philistines gathered themselves together and came and pitched in Shunem. And Saul gathered all Yasharal together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled.
Okay, see that? Fear. All right. Like I said, we talking about we soldiers. We talking about we men of YAHUAH, men and women of YAHUAH, priests and kings. There shouldn't be no fear in our heart. There shouldn't be no fear in our heart, because one, we got the testimony of the Mashiach. We got the testimony of this word. We know that no matter how big or how small the situation, YAHUAH can see you through it. No matter what it looked like on the outside, it looked like you outnumbered, it looked like it'll never happen, it looked like it can't come to pass. He can switch the tides and change it in your favor just like that. Y'all understand that? That's the mindset you gotta have. Once you let fear creep in your mind and creep into your flesh gonna use that against you every time. Your flesh gonna use that against you every time. We've seen that in the prior example. Alright? So let's keep going. Let's see. Also, take this, point this out. Read the middle of 3. It says, and Saul did what? Verse 3, middle of verse 3.
Saul put away those that have familiar spirits, the wizards, out of the land.
All right, mediums, familiar spirits, he put them out of the land prior to this. All right, let's keep that in mind. Let's jump down to 5.
And when Saul saw the host of the Philistine, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of YAHUAH, YAHUAH answered him not, neither by dream, nor by Urim, nor by the Nabim. Then said Saul unto his servant, seek me a woman that has a familiar spirit, that I may go inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is a woman that has a familiar spirit at Andor.
All right, so we see that. So we just saw that. It says Saul put away the mediums or wizards and familiar spirits from the land. But as soon as he called to YAHUAH, asked for YAHUAH for guidance, he didn't speak to him. You see that? So we see that through this man's disobedience, he going back to do what's not expedient. He know that's wrong. He the one who put them out of the land. But at the same time, as soon as you feel like YAHUAH not hearing your voice, you feel like YAHUAH not moving on your time, YAHUAH not answering you when you call on him, you want to step outside and do what's expedient. That's not a soldier. That's showing that you weak. That's showing that you're scared. That's showing that you got fear. That's showing that you really don't believe in this man and his time and his word and what he got in store for you. If you just do what he say and act when he wants you to act, not when you feel like it's time. You see, that's the same thing that made Saul a bad king. All this stuff that we're showing you. And that's what I'm saying. We king and we priest, the same character. We can't show this. We can't show signs of weakness. We can't show signs of fear and disbelief. But that's what can, like I said, put us right out the way. And once YAHUAH take our eyes off, we know his word stand. He's not going to do something and it's not a promise. When he speak it, it's a promise, right? When he say it. If he say he's not going to establish you forever, you're going to hell. If he take his spirit away from you, he take that mind to want to be in the body of Mashiach away from you, that's it. You outside the way. All right? So let's keep reading. Let's see what he do.
Then said Saul unto his servants, let's go to verse 8. And Saul disguised themselves and put on another raiment and went, 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up whom I shall name. And the woman said to him, behold, thou knowest that Saul has done, how he has cut off those that has familiar spirits and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die? And Saul sware to her by YAHUAH, saying, as YAHUAH live, there shall no punishment happen to you for this.
Okay.
Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up to thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For you are Saul.
So stop there. Anybody know why he called Samuel?
Who was Saul?
Yep.
Because he was ordained from the womb.
Anybody else? Why he called Samuel?
I said the testimony of Michelle for that. In person.
Think so?
That's what I'm saying.
Anybody else?
He knew. Yeah, he knew that he didn't know.
That's what he always dealt with.
Right.
That's what he always did.
Exactly. He called for him because, like he said, a familiar spirit. He talking somebody he familiar with. He familiar with Saul's leadership, Saul's guidance. Because I'm Samuel, excuse me, Samuel. He used to that. See, you see at the same time, Saul, he taking faith and he taking faith in man instead of what he know YAHUAH told him to do. So we're gonna see Samuel gonna tell him, you call me up, I'm gonna tell you the same thing YAHUAH told you. You already know you ain't supposed to be fooling no familiar spirit, so why you use the familiar spirit to call me up? You know what I'm saying? You putting yourself in a further position of reprobate mind. You putting yourself in a further state where you taking yourself further and further away from YAHUAH. You see that? And that's the key of that discipline that we're saying that come behind us being in that position. That makes sense? Everybody understand that? All right. Let's go to 1 Kings 20. 1 Kings chapter 20. All right. Let's jump to verse. Let's go to verse 10. Let's go to verse 10. 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 10.
And Benadad said unto him and said, the gods do so unto me and more also, that the justice of Samaria shall suffice for the handfuls of all the people that follow me. The king of YAHUAH answered and said, tell him that not him that gird on his harness boast himself as he that put it off. And it came to pass when Benadad heard this message as he was drinking, he and the kings in the pavilions, that he said unto his servants, set yourself in array, and they set themselves in array against the city.
Okay.
So behold,
Go ahead. So we see right here, just give y'all a background. Ben-Hadad is king of Syria. And he's going against YAHUAH, putting himself in battle against YAHUAH. Let's see what the prophets come and tell the king of YAHUAH.
and behold, there came a prophet unto Ahab, king of YAHUAH, saying, thus saith YAHUAH, hast thou seen all this great multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into thy hand this day, and thou shalt know that I am YAHUAH. And Ahab said, by whom? And he said, thus saith YAHUAH, even by the young men of the princes of the province. And he said, who shall order the battle? And he answered, thou.
All right, so see, right here, the prophets told Ahab, I'm going to deliver this host of army over unto you. So he's telling them that I've given you victory over the armies that come forth against you. And he told him that you, the king, is going to lead the battle ready. You're going to lead your people in the battle and fight in the name of YAHUAH. All right, let's keep going. We at 15.
And he numbered the young men of the princes of the provinces, and there were 232. And after them he numbered all the people, even all the children of Yahweh, being 7,000. And they went out at noon. But Benadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, and he and the kings, and the 32 kings that helped him. The young men of the princes of the provinces went out first, and Benadad sent out, and they told him, saying, there are men who come out of Samaria. He said, whether they be come out for peace, take them alive, and whether they be come out for war, take them alive. And these young men of the princes of the provinces came out of the city, and the army which followed them, and they slew every one his man, and the Syrians fled. YAHUAH pursued them, and Benadad the king of Syria escaped on a horse with horsemen. The king of YAHUAH went out and smote the horses and chariots of the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came to the king of YAHUAH and said, go, strengthen thyself and mark, and see what thou do, for at the return of the year the king of Syria will come up against thee. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, their gods are gods of the hills, therefore they were stronger than we. Let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they.
Okay, so let's start here. So we see that the Syrians, they didn't believe in the Elohim of YAHUAH. They believed in the other gods, the gods of the hills, the valleys, the gods of this earth, the gods of this world. You know what I'm saying? So right here we see that he tells him right here at 21, he said, for in the spring of the year the king of Syria will come up again against you. So he already telling him that this wasn't your first fight. You did win the battle, but you didn't win the war. You're going to come back. All right? He's telling him that he's going to come back to see him, even though they just got a victory, right? So let's jump down to 34. No, 33.
Now the men did diligently observe 32. So they gathered sackcloth on their loins and put ropes on their heads, and they came to King of YAHUAH and said, thy servant Benadad said, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, is he yet alive? He is my brother. Now the men did diligently observe whether any would come from him, and they did hastily catch it. And they said, thy brother Benadad. Then he said, go ye bring him. Then Benadad came forth to him, and he caused him to come upon a chariot. And Benadad said unto him, the cities which my father took from thy father I will restore, and thou shalt make streets for thee in Damascus, as my father had made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send thee away with this covenant. So he made a covenant with him and sent him away. A certain man of the sons of the prophet said unto his neighbor in the word of YAHUAH, smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Then said he unto them, because thou hast not obeyed the voice of YAHUAH, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. Then he found another man, and he said, smite thee, I pray thee. And the man smote him, so that in smiting he wounded him. So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face. And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king and said, thy servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me, and said, keep this man, if by any means he be missing, then shall thy life be for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent of silver. And as thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And And the king of Yasharal said unto him, so shall thy judgment be, thyself hast decided it. And he hasted and took the ashes away from his face, and the king of Yasharal discerned him that he was of the prophet. And he said unto him, thus saith YAHUAH, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. And the king of Yasharal went to his house heavy, and displeased, and came to Samaria.
All right. So we can see the gist of what happened then. We see right here that YAHUAH told him that this man will come back and fight against you in the next time. He made a covenant with the heathen. He made a covenant with the people that he would spare their life. And at the same time, we see that this prophet is showing something symbolic, because he went back and told him, after they were supposed to kill this man, strike this man, he went back and told him, just like they didn't strike me, you gonna get killed for not killing your enemy or killing the people I told you to kill, because I didn't tell you to make a treaty with them. You see that? So again, and we see at the beginning, he told him that he was gonna give him over to the battle. YAHUAH already gave him victory. YAHUAH gave him victory. But see, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. Instead of doing what YAHUAH said, he wanted to do the contrary. So now, everybody got to pay for what he did. He said, right here, 43, it said, because you have slipped your hand, a man who I have appointed for utter destruction, therefore your life should go for his life, and your people for his people. You see that? So that's another thing we got to understand. As being men and women in this word, we in a position where the decisions that we make is going to affect other people, especially us who are married, who have families. The decision that we make, the transgression that we make, the things that we do that's not expedient, it's going to eventually affect our kids. It's going to affect our family. It's going to fall on the people that we love because of that. Y'all understand? That's the position of being held accountable, because we are in a position of leadership. We are in a position, like I said, we kings and priests, like the word says. So we got to understand the decisions that we make don't only affect us. They affect our loved ones and the people we care about, because we are held more accountable. We look at the same thing with us being Yasharal. He said he has chosen us above all nations of the earth to be a peculiar people. You see that? The same way that he chose us to lead and guide other people, the same way he held us more accountable. Just like he said, if you do this, that, and the third, I'll bless you. You do this, that, and the third, I'll curse you. He only said that to us. So since we were given that responsibility as a people, we have to deal with the consequences of our actions by not doing what this man said, not following the directions and not being obedient. That makes sense? So I want y'all to understand that in contrast, that's the way we're supposed to be living our life. We're supposed to be fighting this battle. We're supposed to be making sure discipline is the main key, as far as us making sure at all times we doing what we doing right, doing what this man telling us to do, not going to the right or to the left, not adding or taking away. Oh, I'll fight and I'll kill, but I'm going to make a treaty and I'm going to say to people. No, you need to do everything this man telling you to do, just like he said to do it. Because at the end of the day, we held accountable. Our kids will be held accountable. Us who married, we supposed to be covering our women gonna be held accountable. And that's not what we want, because we in that position, we gotta be held responsible. Alright? I got one more spot to show y'all. Let's go to Matthew 24. Let's go to verse. I'm sorry, Luke 13. My bad. We're going to Luke 13. All right, let's jump to verse 23.
Then said one unto him, Master, are there few that be saved?
Add one more time.
Then said one unto him, Master, are there few that be saved?
And what did he say?
And he said unto him, strive to enter in at the strait gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter and shall not be able. When once the master of the house is risen up and have shut the door, and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Master, Master, open unto us, and he shall answer and say to you, I know not who you are. Then shall you begin to say, We have ate and drunk in your presence, and you have taught in your streets. And he shall say, I tell you, I know you not, whence you are. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity.
Stop there. So the first thing the question was asked, are there few saved? So they asking this question because they're trying to get an understanding of, is everyone saved who say they saved, or why is it not going to be a lot of people saved? And he answered them straight and narrow. It's the gate. And many seek to enter and not be able. All right? So back to what we were saying initially, it's a lot of people who say that they saved. They want to be saved. They want to make it to the kingdom. They want to do what's right. They want to understand His word. But at the same time, we know that it's only going to be a few. It's only going to be a few because only few will really endure to the end. Only few will keep that same mindset, keep that same consistent action and obedience and that same consistent action of faith to endure to the end. Everybody not going to do it. It's the people that you see throughout your life, and as you know, we all been on this walk. Different, lengths of time, you're going to see it's going to be a lot of people who say they believe and say this is what they want, and in their heart, that's not what they really want. And for one, you don't want to be that. You want to make sure you stand on this path, you stand on this gate. Because like we said, you fighting this fight, and you fighting this war, you fighting your flesh, you doing all you can in your power to make sure you stand in line in this man's word, and you go back aside from it, and you fall back away, like we read with Saul. All of it is going to be for nothing. It's all going to be for nothing. So, like I say, choose this day who you going to serve. If you really want to be in this word, this really what you want to do, that's something that you're going to have to commit to. And if you know it's not really in your heart, don't play with this man. Because he's not going to play with your life. We already see. He's not that type of Elohim. If you play with him, that's you. That's your life. He's going to take it away from you just like that. Our life like a chaff in the wind. It's just like that. It's nothing for him to take that away from you. So, you need to choose how you want to live your life and choose this is what you really want. You really going to come and be disciplined and prepare to battle and fight this fight every day, using these tools, using this word, using resources, using people around you that you know are really genuine about this word. You need to submit to it and stand firm and stand fast in what you believe. If this is not what you really want to do, you can go back and do what you've been doing. Because this is serious. We're talking about our souls being saved. We're talking about our family being saved. We're talking about eternal life. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So, I'm going to read this last part. Jump to 27.
But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence you are. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And when you shall see Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yahuwah, and all the prophets in the kingdom of Elohim, and you yourselves thrust out.
All right. And that's what I'm saying. You don't want to have this mindset that you fooling yourself. You know it's not really what you want deep down in your heart, but you're going through the motions. Because when you see people who you saw was serious, they inherited the kingdom, they really getting what they works require. They really been getting do their work. They really been getting judged by their works, and they judging faithful. And you know you're not. It's better than you had never been born. That's what it says. It'll be better if you had never been born, because the judgment that you're gonna get from playing with this man's word is gonna be far worse than the sinner who never even tried to live this man's word. Y'all understand that? Everybody got understanding of that? Praise y'all for the word.